Welcome everybody to a new series that I'm starting on the very popular and fast-growing YouTube channel Biggie Bobo called Thrash or Pass. In this series, I will review heavy metal albums and rate it either a thrash, meaning I recommend it, or a pass, meaning I don't. I looked up if anyone has already coined the term thrash or pass because I thought it was clever. Too clever for someone to not already come up with it, and this guy that reviews skate parks already did, but I feel like my videos are going to be different enough to justify borrowing the name. Plus, he hasn't uploaded in like 2 years. I also really love these videos, by the way.
Terrible name for a skate park. I mean, what the actual Rough and ready. Yeah, ready to go home as soon as you get here.
We Colorado boys for life. There's one right here in Arvada that you haven't reviewed yet. Let's collab or something, bro. Hit me up. I've been wanting to start this series for a very long time, but I haven't really figured out what format I want to do it in. I wanted to do these reviews while talking to a camera, but I'm not very good at doing that, and that would also require that I have 1, a camera, and 2, a good background, 2 areas in which I am unfortunately lacking. I'm not going to think about it. I'll just send the audio to my editor and he'll figure something out. He's a champ. Anyway, today's episode is Cult of Static.
If you've been taught that our church is a cult, you may want to take a step back and analyze why you've been taught that.
Static X is a band that I have referenced the music of in almost every single one of my videos. They are my favorite band. If Static X had a fan club, I would be its president. Cult of Static is the band's 6th commercial album that released March 13th of 2009 and would be the last Static X record before the band broke up in 2010. I think Static X's discography leading up to Cult of Static is pretty good. Their debut, Wisconsin Death Trip, might be my favorite album of all time. And every subsequent record afterward was a moderately well-executed expansion or evolution of the band's unique style, even if they never really came close to replicating the magic that was Wisconsin Death Trip. But when you move on from Cannibal, which is a really great album, to Cult of Static, it's really hard to wrap your head around. Why is this such a dramatic fall-off on pretty much every conceivable level? Just about every song in here feels empty and disjointed. It's like everyone in the band recorded their instrumentation in completely different parts of the country. This makes it so that songs like Z28, Terminal, Terrified, or Stingray I think would have actually been pretty good if they were made for any other album, but because it's on this album, they end up just being okay, and that makes it so that songs that would normally be just okay end up being kinda bad, like the tracks Nocturnally or Skinned. Under normal circumstances, a lot of these songs would have turned out amazing, but for some reason they all came out sounding rushed and incomplete. If this was like their first album, I think Cult of Static wouldn't be seen as bad at all. It would be okay for a band's debut album to feel stripped back and underdeveloped, but your 6th record? I don't know about that, Uncle Grandpa. Okay, let's play Compare and Contrast so that you know what I'm talking about. Don't the songs from Cannibal sound so much more full and three-dimensional? On Cult of Static, the riffs don't hit as hard, the fills don't hit as hard, the synths aren't as harmonious. Cult of Static really just feels like Diet Cannibal to me. And it really is a big shame because, again, I think there's a lot of good ideas in this album. I don't think this album sucks or that it doesn't belong in Static X's perfect catalog. I still think there are worse songs on Start a War. I'll take Grind to Halt over Skinny Man any day, but it just feels off in a way that's hard to immediately perceive. In 2021, there was an expanded version of Cult of Static with a couple of additional songs. The first song from this expansion is Stingray Edit. And for the life of me, I can't tell what the difference is. I think the drums are a little different and there's some extra synths, I think. I'll be honest, I really don't think this re-edit is different enough to justify its inclusion here. I had to play both versions of the song, one in each ear, to figure out what exactly the difference is. It really just feels like an encore of Stingray. I guess it's better than an encore of You Am I, am I right, guys? Yeah. WFO is the next song, and I actually think this is one of the best songs from this album. It's pretty fast-paced, but ultimately still carries a lot of the issues I've mentioned already. This song being as good as it is made the next 3 songs an even bigger disappointment than the entire album itself, So the next 3 songs are covers, right? We start with Looks That Kill by Motley Crue. I think this one works the best out of these 3 covers, so it works about as well as Your Dad's Old Macintosh in comparison to like Seth Bling's Minecraft Atari that runs at 1 frame per second. Yeah, so the next one is Talk Dirty to Me by Poison, and it's Talk Dirty to Me! Okay, so this was probably the bassist Tony Campos and not the actual frontman Wayne Static doing the vocals here. That's probably why it just sounds kind of weird. I don't think Tony is a bad vocalist, I just don't think the super glamorous and poppy vocals of 80s hair metal really fits Static X's extremely distorted and aggressive vocal style they're known for. What's funny is that they actually changed the lyrics to have more profanity in it for some reason.
You know I call you on the fucking phone.
Alright, Tony, chill out. This guy was in Mick Gordon's heavy metal choir, by the way.
Remember the hyphen.
Yeah, the hyphen.
After that is Still of the Night by Whitesnake. Wow, Motley Crue, Poison, and Whitesnake. What is this, the Peacemaker soundtrack? Still of the Night was included in the original release of the album, interestingly enough, but it was put at the end of the expanded version because it was already a bonus track. I'm not personally a big fan of these covers, but I'm also not personally a big fan of the original songs, so take that as you will. I'm glad these covers were included, honestly. I bet they had a lot of fun recording these songs that they probably grew up with and were very inspired by. That doesn't mean I have to listen to them, though. Okay, final thoughts time. My feelings for this album have fluctuated quite a lot upon listening to it multiple times over the span of several years. I don't think it's as bad as some people say, but I definitely think it's Static X's worst album. If you liked this album, I've got a great album you should listen to next. It's called Cannibal by Static X. It's pretty much a straight up better version of Cult of Static. Also, can we talk about this album cover? Static X might not be the most well known for their album covers. Like, dude, why is the logo in black letter? But this one is probably their worst album cover. I don't even know what to say. I just think this cover is really funny. Okay, well that's just about everything I have to say. I think I've made my opinion on this album very clear. I think the most enjoyment I have on this album is listening to the songs and just imagining the songs to be way better, if that makes any sense at all. I'm giving Static X's Cult of Static an unfortunate pass.